Hello, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to have a very special author, and I want to thank her because she allowed us to know a little bit more about her life and a little bit more about her upcoming books and a little bit of everything. So I want to introduce you guys to author Claire Contreras. So thank you so much for accepting this interview. I'm so excited about this.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
Well, I always I think I want to start all my interviews from now on asking if Claire Contreras is your actual name or is it a pen name?
It's actually a nickname. So everybody calls me Claire, right? And it just seemed like, okay, I guess I'll just use Claire as my writing name, because it was just a natural thing. Like when somebody says Claire, I that's my name. But my full name is Claribel Contreras, so it's Claribel.
Yes. Okay, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Right away, then I just want to ask you, because you said it in Spanish. So where are you from? Where is Claire from?
I'm Dominican, so I'm from the Dominican Republic.
You have a Cuban accent. So, were you?
I do, because I grew up in Miami. I think when I'm around Dominicans, I talk super Dominican, but for the most part, I talk like a Cuban.
And another question came up to my mind when I was. What was your first book?
My first book that I published.
You published?
Was. Yeah, There's No Light in Darkness. It was the first one I published.
And did that one hit any, New York Times?
No, not that one. That one didn't. Honestly, I didn't. I think it was my 6th or 7th book that got me more recognition, and hit the New York Times. So it was my 7th book, actually.
That
was Kaleidoscope Parts. That one was,
of course, I love that one. I think that's how I got to know your books, and then after that I started reading every single one. But that's actually, and then because we got it in Spanish, so that's why actually I got to know that book or know you. And then, but how do you know you want to write?
Right.
Like when did that came to you?
I wrote a lot when I was young, very young. My dad used to write. So I used to sit down next to him and write. He didn't write books, but I would just sit down and write little stories and, just entertain myself, because I was at that time an only child. Oh. So I was always bored, and I was always with my dad or my mom, and it was like,
okay, let me do it.
And there was no internet.
There was no Facebook, Instagram.
No, there was
TikTok.
Nothing. So I would always, I would just sit down and write little stories, and I loved doing it. And then I stopped doing it for a while. When I got to high school, in middle school, I would write poems. I was big on poetry, but I wasn't good at it. But I liked it. I really wasn't. It was the worst. Now I'm I can't write a poem. I could not write a poem. So then in high school, I was writing books romance, more romance type of books, and I really wanted to write and become a writer. And I went to college I studied psychology, and I told my dad that I wanted to stop my psychology degree and move on and do English, become an English major. And he was like, no, you're not gonna, no. And then it was a big thing. It was what do you mean? And he's like, you can't. He's like, you need a degree. You need to make money. You're not going to be a starving artist. You are not going to go that route. And so I didn't. I just stayed in psychology. I got my minor in English. And then when I went back to school, this is interesting. When I went back to school, I got my degrees. I'm supposed to be a psychologist.
Well, yeah.
So, and I did work in that for a little bit. But then he passed away. And I had to help my mom with things, with their businesses and everything. It was just I had to stop everything I was doing, focus on that. And then when I went back to school, because I decided I'm going to get my MFA, my master's in English, because I really wanted to pursue that.
Exactly.
I
What's
was
your
like, my
dream?
dad's not here. Like, he can't judge me for this.
And that's your
So,
dream.
Right, and it was my dream. So I went back and I started doing it. But then when I got to my professors were like, you have 3 books that are written. Like, why are you here? And I was like,
But yeah.
don't I need this?
You know, like you wanted to have that
Turns out you
backup.
don't need it.
You wanted to have
Yeah,
that backup.
Right. I thought like an author needs an MFA. Like, I really genuinely thought you needed a degree to be an author.
I did too. So how long have you been writing? Like writing as non like clear in publishing and stuff, like being on
Okay.
yeah.
Since 2012. So
Almost 10 years. 9 years.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is.
So now I just wanted to ask you about what was your inspiration in that? Because that book is I broke my heart.
Yeah, so I had just finished chemo, right? I had cancer. The first time I was diagnosed, I had just finished chemo. It was my last chemo. And I was like, I don't know. It's like a very weird feeling. It's a very strange feeling when you finish that. So I had my kids, because my kids were 4 and 6. They were smaller. So they went to my mom's house for a week. And I said, she's like, oh, just, let them sleep over. I'll bring them over every day to visit you. Because I was like, super, like, I had to see my kids every single day. And they're my kids. So it was like a really difficult thing for me to go through, because I'm a very hands-on mom, and I'm very much like, I had these kids. They're my kids. I'm doing everything for them.
Yep.
So she was like, but I learned through that process that I needed help. I couldn't do that like by myself. There was no way. So my kids were at my mom's house that week, and they would come over, leave. And after chemo, I would always do like one day I was okay, and then I would have 4 days that I was like done. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do anything. And then the 5th day I would be okay again, or more okay. So that round, after I finished it, I was like my energy, I had no energy. But then on that 5th day, when I was like okay again, I said, I've been wanting to write this story about a brother's best friend, and I've always loved that trope. I love it because it's like, I don't know, I guess it's like the little forbidden, but it's not really forbidden,
yep.
Aspect of it. I just love it, like the angst and whatever. And I said, I'm just gonna write it. And I just started writing it, and it like poured out of me.
Wow.
Like, I have never written a book like that before, ever. Like, not before that, not after that. It was just like...
Then your books are, so you started a darker side now, because
right.
And how did you do that cross?
You know what's funny? I started darker.
Oh,
There's One in Darkness, and then the series I did right after that, they're both darker, for sure. They're more like what I started publishing after. So, and I love that. I just love the darker stuff. And it's not even super dark. Like, I try not to I could go super dark, but I try not to go super dark, because I try to make it that my regular romance readers can read this, because it's still romance. Yeah. But it's definitely like, it has like the dark elements.
But I really like the one you, the Fables and Other Lies. I love that one, and I was so different. That was so different from what I've read. Anything I've read, it was out of my comfort zone, because I don't read anything that's
You see, yeah.
How long does it take you to write a book? Like, this is 2 in 1. How many books do you publish a year, and how long do you take in between, like, to write them and all that process?
Okay. So it depends on the book.
Of course.
For sure. Like, I've noticed it really depends on the book. But I think I think what's comfortable for me is like 2 to 3 books a year.
Depending on the book.
That's like super comfortable. Right. But like, okay, I do this thing. I don't know what it like. If I finish a book, right? Like right now, I finished the Wicked Prince has been finished, which is I don't even remember that book at this point. I like want to talk about it, and I'm like, I don't even remember it. Like I told somebody the other day, I'm like, she's like, oh, do you want me to make you teasers? And I said, yeah, that would be great if you can do it after you read it, because I don't know what to tell you to make, because like I don't remember the book, and I finished it too long ago. It was like too long ago, whatever. So I finished that one. I have a book coming out in May that I remember because I finished it not too long ago.
Yeah.
And it's a sports romance, and they're Dominican, which is which is exciting.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, for such a long time I didn't want to write Dominican guys because all I know is Dominican guys for the most part. And I'm like my dad and my uncles, and I'm like no,
your cousin, your brothers,
and my brother, and I'm like no. Ahí no hay romance.
That's true though.
Right, but I was like, you know, no, these guys grew up in America. It's kind of different.
Kind of not.
Kind of different.
Yeah,
but not.
I'm
really.
excited.
But
Now that
I was like.
now I am
And I was
excited.
like, and they're super hot.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly, I love it. I love it. But anyways, the point is, I finished that book, right? That one that I'm publishing in May.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished it, and this is going to be a series of standalones. So it's 3 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do the first brother, okay. And usually, I have to take a break. Like, I had to take at least a month to, like, just regroup and, like, think about what I'm going to write. And the characters, I don't want them to be the same. And I feel like, I'm not saying people who write back to back make everything the same, because they don't, I'm sure, I don't know. But I don't want it to be the same. Like, I don't want it to feel like the same book,
the same character,
you know?
and then just the same
like
character, and then different names and different, I don't know, country.
Yeah, I don't feel like I can do that.
Now, I just wanted to ask you what are we gonna have from you this coming year, because you already put the Wicked Prince. Then you said we have one in May with Dominicans.
Yes.
And then
yes.
what else could we expect? I know
more Dominicans.
Yes.
More Dominicans in July.
Yes. Oh.
More Dominicans in September.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a bad word, but yay! Oh, I'm excited because even though like you said, I wouldn't.
No, yeah.
I thought I wouldn't like to read about Dominicans, but once I read about Puerto Ricans, like he was Puerto Rican, and I was like, well, but this isn't that bad. It isn't like because I grew up with Dominicans, Puerto Ricans,
right.
So I was raised over there, so it was like the things I used to see, and I was like, that's not romantic. They don't have. I don't have anything romantic about it. You know, we used to watch High School Musical, exactly. And that's what was romantic at that time. So when I came here, I was just all about Americans. But then now it's just you get tired a little bit. Like, it's not tired because I'll still read it. Yes, I'll still read it and support it. But you wanted to see diversity, and I love. Now I've been wanting. Like, I ask for recommendations from people. Like, if it's Puerto Rican, Dominican. Even from Spain, I don't care. It's just different. From a different country that's not U.S.
Different, right.
Or England.
And that's the thing. Or England.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And that's why in the beginning I was like, I can't write Dominicans because of all these reasons, right? That I have in my head. And I'm like, no. The same reason, like I always say, I'm not marrying a Dominican. I'm going to marry a Cuban. No, and then I go and I marry a Cuban, and it's the same thing. Like,
it's the same.
At the end of the day, it's the same thing.
We have a different accent and a different. That's it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was it, because we're 22 minutes, so I don't want to make it too long. But I just want to thank you again for accepting the.
Of course.
I hope when everything is done, we could do one. I don't know, or I could finally meet you in person, because we were gonna do it last year. So I hope when everything is done, we can just finally meet in person and have a face-to-face.
Yes, I would love that.
Yes.
I would love that. We need to do it. We need to hang out.
Yes. Thank you so much. That was all for today, guys, and thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please don't forget to like it, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.